Greetings Netrunners and welcome to the second part of our review of the Democracy and Dogma datapack. And we'll be looking at the Corp cards today. Starting with Hasbiroid. First we have Voting Machine Initiative, a new agenda with a cost of 5 and worth 3 agenda points. Agenda Initiative. Place 3 agendas counters on Voting Machine Initiative when you score it. When the runner turn begins, you may spend 1 hosted agenda counter. If you do, the runner loses a click if able. This basically means that for 3 turns in a row, the runner is going to be down to 3 clicks. So if you can get this off, you can really hamstring them for a little while. So it's definitely a good one to have. At 5 cost to score it. It's a little pricey, but for the effect, always good. And the thing is, you don't have to use those counters. You can use them whenever you think the runner is about to make a play and they need all their clicks. Or even better, if they're low on cards in their hand, you can make sure they cannot draw as many by using these. Next we have Clone Suffrage Movement. Cost of 1, asset political, or the new political assets that are out there, have an interesting effect. Has trash cost of 2, and when your turn begins, you may add 1 operation from archive stage queue if there is no ice protecting the server. As I said, these new political assets all have that same condition. If there's no ice protecting them, you get an effect. And with this one, you can return an operation from archive stage queue, and that can be good for getting your economy going again, or getting back that vital card you needed. And with no ice protecting the server, though, you've got to be careful how you use it. Because the runner will have to go in, can easily go in there and trash it. But it can also be an advantage if you use it not for its effect, but just a way to get the runner to waste a run and waste money. Then they've wasted a click and they've wasted 2 credits to get rid of it when you weren't planning to use it anyway. So you can use it either way. Some of the other ones are better, like this one here, the Bioethics Association. Cost of 1, asset political for Jinteki. And it has trash cost of 2, and has, when your turn begins, do 1 net damage if there is no ice protecting this server. Now this one, the runner really can't afford to ignore. He's going to have to waste that click running on this server and the 2 credits to trash this card, just because he can't afford to have 1 net damage done to him every single turn. And that brings on to our next Jinteki card. Political Dealings, asset CD. Whenever you draw an agenda, you may reveal it and install it. Now you might be thinking, why would you want to reveal an agenda and then install it, knowing that the runner now knows that it's an agenda? Well, think about it. If you draw an agenda in your mandatory draw, and you make sure you've got mostly 3-point agendas in there, then this installs it automatically for you, and then you've got all 3 clicks to immediately resolve it, score it. And there's nothing the runner can do about it. You have it on the table and score it before they have their turn. Has a trash cost of 3 and a cost of 4, so a little bit pricey, but it's definitely worth it if you're playing with a lot of low point agendas. Our next one, Clones Are Not People, is an operation for Jinteki, cost of 3, and has, this card is not trashed until another current is played and an agenda is stolen. When you score an agenda, add Clones Are Not People to your score area as an agenda worth 1 agenda point. So it's the like the card that the runners have just got in this pack, which is Freedom Through Equality, which gives them an extra agenda point. This one lets you get that extra one if you score an agenda. And as I said before in the runner video, this can be handy if you've got scored 2 3-point ones for getting you that 1 extra point that you need. And I will definitely be using this in a Jinteki deck, I think. Next we have NBN's new asset political. Sensi Actors Union, a cost of 0, and when your turn begins you may draw 3 cards if there are no eyes protecting the server. If you do, add 1 card from HQ to the bottom of R&D. So basically, draw 3 and then put 1 back at the bottom of R&D. But once again, you'll be forcing the runner to waste a click and money to get rid of it. And with 3 copies in your deck, you could do that multiple times. Next we have Whalen Corporation's Asset Political. Commercial Bankers Group. Cost 2 to trash again. This one at a time, a cost of 1 to install. And has, when your turn begins, gain 3 credits if there is no ice protecting the server. Now, once again, like the Jinteki one, this is one the runner really can't afford to ignore, because it will just keep building and building your economy. Next we have the next Whaling card, Mumbad City Hall, Asset Facility Government, cost of 1 and has trash cost of 3. Search R&D for an alliance card, reveal it and play it or install it, paying all costs, shuffle R&D. So for a single click, you can search any of the new alliance cards out and immediately use them, without having to use another click or anything, which can be quite handy for some of the new ones, but it would really have to be based around an alliance deck for use. Now this next one I quite like. It's a new piece of ice called Bailiff. Cost of 2, strength of 0, but has, whenever the runner breaks their subroutine on Bailiff, gain 1 credit. 1 subroutine and the run. Not so good, you would think, but then consider there are plenty of ice out there that say the next ice the runner encounter gets another subroutine. Put this at the start of your server and then all these other kinds of ice in front of it, and then you could have another subroutine, another 2 subroutines possibly I've worked out, that you could use so the runner just breaks through all of them and that's 3 credits straight to you. If you have it over something non-essential, maybe an ambush, you're getting money and hurting the runner at the same time. So it could be quite handy for economy. And finally we have the Surat City Grid. Upgrade region. Whenever you res a card in or protecting the server, not including Surat City Grid, you may res another card, lowering the res cost by 2. So think about that for a minute. When you res a card, like say a piece of ice that is protecting the server, suddenly you can res the next one in the line by a cost of -2, and if that next one's a much more expensive one, you're getting it for a cheaper cost. So extremely handy there. Trash cost of 3, and it's something the runner can't afford to ignore really if you're going to be using it for defending it. That's all for this time, Netrunners. We'll be seeing you next time for our next datapack and hopefully some more games soon using these new cards. So remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon.